Social media shows you a highlight reel, not a life. You know that. You've heard it before. But your brain still forgets. You scroll and you see new houses, six-figure business announcements, debt-free screams, early retirements, perfect vacations. And because it's fast, repetitive, and everywhere, it starts to feel normal. But what you're seeing isn't the full story. You're seeing one frame, one victory, one curated moment, usually without the messy lead-up. You don't see the 10 years of side hustles behind that business launch. You don't see the family support, the inheritances, the behind-the-scenes debt. You don't see the burnout, the sacrifices, the compromises made off camera. You see the result, not the process. And your brain, which is wired to fill in gaps, assumes that the story is simple. They worked hard. They won. You're working hard. You're failing. The gap grows. The feeling isn't admiration anymore. It's inadequacy. Because if they did it, why haven't you? That's the trap. Social media makes success visible. It makes struggle invisible. And it warps your sense of what's normal, possible, and expected. You don't feel the slow climb anymore. You don't see the quiet progress. You don't value the steady discipline. You crave the moment, the reveal, the announcement. And when your life doesn't have one this week, you feel behind. You feel broken. You feel like you're missing some secret everyone else got. But you're not missing anything. You're just comparing your real, messy, complex life to someone else's marketing strategy. Financial growth is real. It happens. But it rarely looks like a viral post. It looks like 1,000 tiny decisions no one claps for. And if you only measure your progress by what's visible online, you'll always feel like you're losing, even when you're actually winning, just more quietly.
Scrolling through social media doesn't just warp what you expect to achieve. It warps when you think you're supposed to achieve it. You see people buying homes at 25, launching six-figure businesses by 28, retiring by 35, investing at 19, traveling the world at 23, and it starts to feel like there's this invisible clock ticking behind your life. You're supposed to hit these milestones, and fast. Otherwise, you're falling behind. But whose timeline is that? Who set that standard? And why are you racing it? Because here's the truth. Most of those stories are incomplete. They leave out the context, the financial help, the lucky breaks, the unspoken privileges. More importantly, they leave out the sheer randomness of life, the detours, the setbacks, the recoveries no one talks about. Real financial progress is not linear, it's not tidy, and it doesn't move at the same speed for everyone. You might spend 5 years just stabilizing after a rough start. You might spend 3 years paying off mistakes you made at 22. You might spend a decade building skills before the breakthrough comes. And that's not failure, that's normal. But if you judge your timeline by someone else's edited highlight reel, you'll feel late, even when you're right on time for your own life. Financial anxiety grows when we believe there's a too late, that if you don't invest by 25, own property by 30, retire by 40, you've lost. But growth isn't a race, it's a direction. And no app, no influencer, no random post can tell you the real pace that's right for you. You're not behind, you're not broken. You're on a path that's yours, not theirs. And if you stay loyal to that, you'll build something better than a viral story. You'll build something real.
It's easy to think success looks like luxury, nice cars, designer bags, perfect apartments, endless vacations. And on social media, that's exactly what gets amplified. People post the upgrades, the splurges, the I made it purchases. But what they rarely post is the other side, the credit card debt, the monthly payments, the financial anxiety that grows underneath the shine. Because sometimes, often, what looks like success is just lifestyle inflation. It's when your spending grows as fast or faster than your income. You make more, so you spend more, because that's what you think you're supposed to do. You raise your rent, you upgrade your car, you start eating out more, you buy the designer stuff you used to scroll past, and for a while it feels amazing, like proof that you've moved up. But if your expenses rise just as fast, you're not actually wealthier, you're just busier managing higher bills. And online, no one shows that part. No one posts about the anxiety of holding a massive mortgage, or the regret of stretching too far for the dream car, or the stress of trying to maintain an image that's way more expensive than necessary. You see the curated moment, the new keys, the big reveal, and miss the cost that came with it. It's not bad to want nice things. It's not wrong to celebrate milestones. But when you confuse lifestyle inflation with real financial security, you set yourself up for silent pressure. Because luxury isn't proof you're stable. Sometimes it's proof you're stretched. And chasing it, just because you saw someone else do it, disconnects you from your real goals. Your peace won't come from matching someone else's highlight reel. It'll come from living at a level that feels solid, steady, and real, even if it doesn't look flashy on a screen. Social media shows you numbers, but almost never the full context. You'll see someone post about paying off $80,000 in debt in a year, or saving $50,000 before 25, or buying a house outright with cash, and immediately you compare. You think, why can't I do that? What am I doing wrong? But here's the part they don't always share. Their income, their living situation, their background, their starting point. Maybe they make $250,000 a year. Maybe they lived with parents rent-free. Maybe they got help with college or had no student loans. Maybe they sacrificed health, relationships, or stability to hit those numbers. And sometimes, maybe, just maybe, they exaggerated. But because the context is missing, your brain fills in the blanks. You assume they worked hard, they were disciplined, they made it happen. And you assume the opposite about yourself. You must not be trying hard enough. You must be the problem. But money without context is dangerous. It creates impossible standards. It creates false guilt. It creates shame for a life you're actually managing pretty damn well, given the realities you're dealing with. Context changes everything. $50,000 in savings looks very different when you're living in a low-cost area versus downtown New York. Paying off $80,000 in loans is a different story when you're single with no dependents versus supporting a family of 4. Progress isn't measured by the raw numbers. It's measured by how those numbers fit your reality. Without context, financial milestones turn into weapons against yourself, against your confidence, against your pace. You don't owe the internet your financial wins, and you definitely don't owe it your peace. Someone else's story, no matter how inspiring it looks, isn't the roadmap for your life. Your real journey is happening off camera, and that's where it counts. You don't think much of it at first. You're just scrolling, checking updates, killing time, relaxing. But quietly, in the background, something else is happening. Your brain is tallying up comparisons. Your nervous system is absorbing pressure. Your self-trust is taking small hits, one after another. Because social media isn't just information, it's curated comparison. Every scroll is a subtle reminder of what you don't have yet. The house, the savings, the investments, the trips, the polished milestones. Even when you know better, your nervous system doesn't always care. It picks up the signals anyway. It registers not enough, even when logically you're doing fine. And the more you scroll, the heavier it gets. Not because you're jealous, not because you're bitter, but because humans are wired to measure themselves against the tribe. And online, the tribe is massive, edited, and often completely unrealistic. The result? Chronic financial dissatisfaction. Even when you're making real progress, even when you're winning by your own standards, you start feeling like you're failing without any new evidence. You start second-guessing your decisions. You start losing the quiet pride you've earned, not because your life got worse, but because your perception shifted. That's the real cost of endless scrolling, not wasted time, wasted self-trust, the ability to say, I'm okay, I'm on track, I'm proud of myself, gets drowned out by noise you were never meant to process in the first place. You don't need to quit social media entirely, but you do need to notice what it's doing to your mind. You need space to hear your own voice again, under the endless highlight reels. Because progress isn't made louder by exposure. It's made clearer by attention, and your life deserves attention, not comparison. The truth is, the kind of financial progress that actually matters doesn't look good in a post. No one claps when you pay off a credit card quietly. No one reposts the moment you finally build a 1-month emergency fund. No one throws a party because you said no to a purchase that didn't fit your goals. Real progress is slow, quiet, sometimes boring. It's meal planning when you don't feel like it. It's making an extra payment when no one's watching. It's walking past the flashy car because you know the freedom of no debt is better than the approval of strangers. But online, those moments don't trend. They don't get likes. They don't look dramatic enough for engagement. And because you don't see them, you start to believe they don't count. You start thinking progress only matters when it's big, fast, and public. But real financial growth doesn't work that way. It's not viral. It's not explosive. It's cumulative. It's the result of 100 small choices that look insignificant at the time, and over time, they build the foundation for everything you want. The problem is, your brain, conditioned by endless highlight reels, wants to see big moves. It craves dopamine spikes. It gets bored with steady gains. But your future wealth isn't built on dopamine. It's built on consistency. You don't need a big moment to be on track. You don't need a viral story to be proud. You need rhythm. You need quiet wins. You need the patience to keep going, even when no one is clapping, because the strongest financial lives aren't built online. They're built offline, in the small, unseen decisions you make every day. And those decisions, even if nobody sees them, are what will change everything. If social media distorts your sense of progress, the solution isn't just avoiding the noise. It's building a better signal inside yourself. You need a way to measure your growth that isn't based on likes, timelines, or strangers' milestones. You need your own metric, because no one else knows your starting point. No one else knows the sacrifices you've made. No one else knows the battles you've fought quietly and won. Real financial progress isn't about where you are compared to someone else. It's about where you are compared to yesterday. Did you pause before making a big purchase? Did you save something, even a small amount, this month? Did you check your account without spiraling into shame? Did you hold a boundary around your money when it was uncomfortable? That's growth. It's not about the size of the move. It's about the shift in direction. And it's personal. Maybe your next step isn't buying a house. Maybe it's finally having a month where you don't overdraft. Maybe it's paying off one bill. Maybe it's just feeling calm when you open your banking app. Those are milestones too, even if they don't look flashy on a feed. Rebuilding your sense of progress means asking better questions. Am I acting more in line with my values? Am I building systems that feel sustainable? Am I recovering faster after setbacks? Am I treating myself with more patience and less punishment? If the answer is yes, you're growing. Even if it's slow, even if it's invisible, even if no one else sees it, you are allowed to define success on your terms. You are allowed to move at your own pace. You are allowed to be proud of the steps no one claps for, because the life you're building isn't for show, it's for you. And that makes it infinitely more valuable than any highlight reel could ever be. If this video made something click for you, consider subscribing. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one, and leave a comment, even just a thanks or your own story. I read everything.